Hello my friends, in today's video we will take a look at Zhiyun Crane M3. This is a compact gimbal suitable for a wide variety of devices ranging from action cameras to full-frame mirrorless cameras. It also brings some technological advancements from larger gimbals to the subcompact class. In this video we will take a look at the performance of M3 with various devices to find out whether you should consider getting one. Crane M3 uses the usual crane configuration with a vertical arm. It is just 24 cm long when folded and it only weighs 730 grams. That means that this gimbal is extremely compact. Even if you compare it to the very compact Weebill 2, it is basically half of the size and half of the weight. Despite that, it works even with full-frame cameras, although there are some limitations. The maximal payload should be around 1.5 kg, but it depends on the specific setup. I have tested it with Sony A7R III and FE 20mm F1.8G, which weighs about 1 kg, and it worked fine. On the other end, it can work with cameras as small as the GoPro Hero 10 Black. A smartphone adapter is included as well, and it works with iPhone 13 Pro with no issues. The build quality is very good. The arms are metal of course, and the plastics on the handle are very high quality. I also like the white color scheme, which is very stylish in my opinion. I can definitely say that it feels and also looks like a premium product. The balancing process is relatively easy depending on the camera. The arms are relatively easy to move, so it is easy to set the correct position. If you are balancing it with a full-frame camera, you might be hitting the limits of the arm's length. With A7R III and 20mm, it wasn't possible to balance the pen axis, but the gimbal still worked fine despite that. Crane M3 also has auto-tune function like most modern gimbals, so we don't have to guess which payload setting is the best. Only the pen axis has unlimited motion range, but that is the one that matters, so that is fine. The motion range may also be limited by the camera size, but that is a price for having such a small gimbal. There are locks on all three motors, which is a standard feature nowadays. Crane M3 uses a proprietary quick release plate, which is again acceptable at this size. Specific quick release plates for the most popular cameras will be available later on, and those will make attaching the camera much more convenient. Crane M3 will come in several packages. The base one includes just a gimbal and a small tripod. Combo package includes a larger tripod, smartphone holder, and this stylish backpack. The Pro version adds transmount expansion base and transmount microphone, but that wasn't a part of my review unit. I really like this bag or backpack. It is very high quality and it has modular space inside, so we can also use it to carry your camera. All kinds of cables for connecting the camera and charging the gimbal are also included in the package. So how about the performance and the smoothness? It is actually pretty good. I have mainly been testing it with Sony A7R III and 20mm F1.8. I was getting really smooth footage, which is not far from mid-size gimbals such as the Weebill S. That wide angle is also easier to stabilize, so even the walking is completely fine. The motor response around 0 degrees angle is very linear and predictable. You should definitely use this combination with in-body image stabilization in your camera though. This combination is completely fine for travel videos for example. I have also tested it with Fujifilm X-T4 and 18-55 and this combination was completely fine. This gimbal will also be a perfect match for APS-C cameras such as Sony ZV-E10 and 1-inch cameras such as ZV-1. I have also briefly tested it with iPhone 13 Pro. That one has fantastic stabilization by itself, so Crane M3 only needs to keep the horizon leveled and make the movements more linear. It is also possible to use it with an action camera such as GoPro Hero 10 Black. Basically the same applies here as well. It is more than sufficient for anything that you might need to do with your GoPro. It goes without saying that the size to performance ratio of Crane M3 is incredible. It can basically provide mid-size gimbal performance with subcompact size, which is very impressive. If you want something for heavy-duty commercial use with a full-frame camera and larger lenses, I would probably go with something like Weebill 2. Weebill S is still a valid middle option between those two, so Zhiyun has a really good selection at the moment. Very complete motor parameter settings also contribute to the overall performance. That brings us to one of the standout features of the Crane M3, which is the touchscreen. This is the first time that we get a touchscreen on a gimbal of this size. It is very nice, bright, detailed, and responsive touchscreen. The user interface is similar to the larger screen on Weebill 2. Basically, the only limitation that I found is that you can only choose one of three options with the follow speed, joystick speed, or smoothness settings. If you want a custom setting, you have to do that through the app. Other than that, it gives you everything that you might need and it is very easy to use. It is definitely a huge improvement over the old calculator style gimbal displays or having no display at all, so big thumbs up for that. Physical controls are simple but sufficient. You have a power button on the right side, joystick, mode button and recording button on the front side, light control wheel on the left side, and there is a trigger button and control wheel on the back side. The grip is also very well shaped. It is secure and comfortable to hold despite the compact size, so big thumbs up for that. Crane M3 has basically the same follow modes as the larger gimbals. There is the pan follow, where the gimbal follows your movements in the horizontal axis. Pan and tilt follow mode follows your horizontal movements and tilting of the gimbal. In lock mode, it will just keep the camera pointed in one direction. In POV mode, it follows all axes, so panning, tilting and rolling. There is also a vortex mode for the vertigo effect. You can enter the selfie mode by triple pressing the trigger button, and you can reset the gimbal position by double pressing it. It is also possible to connect the camera to the gimbal using included cables. As you may know from my other gimbal reviews, if you use Sony, the remote control will disable in-body image stabilization if you use PC remote USB setting. You can use a mass storage setting and micro USB multi-cable with Sony cameras, and that way you can have in-body image stabilization and functioning video recording button on the gimbal. There will also be a wireless control unit, but I don't have that one yet. A special feature of the M3 is the light. It is located next to the tilt motor and it is surprisingly bright. You can control it using the control wheel on the left side. You can adjust the brightness and temperature, which is very neat. It can be very useful as a fill light or even in the darkness, so thumbs up for this feature. ZY Play app is reliable and I haven't had any issues overall. I have tested it with both iOS and Android and it works fine with both, so we will get equal experience. The app includes usual features such as the remote control, parameter settings, motion lapses and so on. Crane M3 uses an integrated battery, which is fine at this size. The battery should last about 8 hours, which is also enough on this kind of gimbal. It supports up to 25 watt charging using the PD standard, so the recharge time is pretty short. To sum up, the Zhiyun Crane M3 is a very impressive subcompact gimbal. The biggest strength of the M3 is the size to performance ratio. It is the smallest gimbal that is realistically usable with a full-frame camera. I think that it is currently the best choice for cameras such as Sony ZV-E10, ZV-1, Fujifilm X-T30 and so on. Functionality with smartphones and GoPro is an added bonus. The touchscreen also makes the operation much more user-friendly. Basically, the only thing that I would change is that I would make the pen axis arm longer. The size naturally brings some limitations, but within those limitations it works really great. If you are looking for a compact gimbal for your mirrorless camera, I can highly recommend the Zhiyun Crane M3. So that's it for this video, thank you for watching, I hope that you liked this video and that you have found it to be useful. Stay tuned for more videos and maybe consider subscribing if you don't want to miss my future content. I appreciate your feedback in form of thumbs up or thumbs down. If you would like to ask anything or share opinion, please do so in the comment section, and see you next time.